Yep, live on Facebook.
Hey guys, how is everyone doing today? We are going to get started in just a second. Need to make a couple tweaks to the computer settings. All right. Okay, guys. Hope everyone is doing fantastic today. Let me get back to my Zoom screen. And here we are. All right. Everyone, say hi to our guest, Solomon from Seattle, all the way from the west coast of Seattle. And I asked him how the weather was, and he said it was raining. Imagine that. Anyway, we'll be giving Solomon a proper introduction in a few moments. For now, this is a live hot seat that we do each Tuesday where my guests will present the obstacles they're facing with real estate investing, and I will crush each and every one of them. Besides helping real estate investors take their business to another level, I do these live streams to show that you can change your life and your situation through real estate investing. If we haven't met before, I'm Brad Chandler, and I teach people how to find freedom through real estate investing using a tactic called wholesaling, which doesn't require credit or tons of cash to succeed. I started in 2003 with a negative $80,000 net worth. I was one of the 78% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. I've been able to build Express Home Buyers into a company that does 200 wholesale deals per year and generates millions of dollars in wholesale fees without my day-to-day involvement. I no longer live paycheck to paycheck. You can do the same, I promise. Just listen to this live stream and download my free training where I actually walk you through a deal where we made $33,750 on a house without buying or renovating it. Just go to bradchandler.com/case study to see the step-by-step process. Anyway, give me a second to share this broadcast on my personal page, if you would. While I'm doing this, let me know where you're watching from by typing it in the comments below. I love to hear where you're listening from. Whether you're watching live or watching a rebroadcast, let me know as I check this video after the live broadcast is done. So definitely make sure to leave a comment or a question. Also, please share this video post. And if you like what I say, click the thumbs up. And if you want to send me some love because I said something great, please click the heart button and send me some love. Could you go right now and in the comments below, tell us where you're from and send some love by clicking on the heart? Just click, click, click away. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone to the Real Estate Investing Hot Seat live stream podcast. I want to welcome Solomon to the show. Welcome, Solomon from Seattle. How the heck are you?
Hey, Brad. Thanks for having me out here. I'm doing great. I'm in a good mood. It's start of Q2, so ready to really push forward this year and crush it before the summer ends.
Awesome. So I'm so excited to hear about kind of where you've been. Tell us how you got to where you are and what you're currently doing right now. Yeah.
So I'm kind of a pseudo investor, right? We do wholesaling as one of our ways to monetize, make a profit in this market. But we also, focus on rehabs and then to a lesser extent, new construction development. So I started in this game probably around, I dabbled in it about 2015, kind of got serious at the end of 2016. And then 2017 was when I kind of made the leap of faith and kind of pushed forward into this business. And so here we are today.
Okay. So tell me what you've done in what did 2017 look like for you?
2017 was kind of a ramp up in business. During that time, I was able to put together about 4 deals in that 2017 year. And then it was a lot of, trial and error, a ton of trial and error, a lot of cold calling, a lot of rejection, a lot of, getting cussed out by sellers. It was not fun, but I think it was very integral into my growth and kind of pushing me forward to that next level.
Okay. Can you tell us about those 4 deals? Dive in, just give us a quick summary on what they were like.
Yeah. So I'll start with the first one. The first deal I did was in, an area south of Seattle, was in Tacoma. And this was in 2016 when my old mentor had actually given me a phone call and told me, hey, I kind of paid him and, we had kind of worked together on some stuff, but nothing came to fruition. So he was kicking me off his Podio and he was like, hey, here's your data. I'm going to send it to an Excel spreadsheet and you're going to have to figure whatever you want to do with it, right? So I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, I want to really make a deal happen. So I go back and I call every single person in that Podio follow-up sequence. Yeah. Awesome. And people who just who said no in the past, I went and even the appointments, those are the ones I called back and I said, hey, I know we couldn't make something happen last time, but why don't we try again? And so I was able to get my first deal in December of 2016. And that one closed like right around then. And then another smaller deal came from a direct mail marketing campaign I put out together using.
So Solomon, can you hang on a second?
Sure.
So I want to ask more about the Tacoma. And by the way, we did a deal in Tacoma a couple of months ago. We only made 10 grand on it because we didn't Tacoma market, but it was still 10 grand.
Yeah.
And kudos to you, ladies and gentlemen, listening to the show. Like Solomon took massive action. His former partner mentor says, I'm done with you. Here's a list. It would have been easier. It would have been easier for Solomon to say, you know what, there's nothing in these addresses and numbers, so I'll just start fresh. But instead, you took massive action. And that's a trait of most successful people. Rather than sit there and wait for stuff to happen, you took massive action. So kudos to you. So just tell me about the deal. Was it a wholesale? Was it a rehab? How much?
Yeah, so it was a wholesale deal. And me and my partner, I ended up having going back to that partner because I didn't have a buyer's list. So we split that profit. It was $25,000. So we went half and half on it. So
okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And your next couple deals?
Yeah. And then the next deal I did was a really small deal that I put together in Renton, Washington, which is still a south suburb of Seattle. And the house was, the lady had reverse mortgaged the home. So there was like almost no equity in the property. But I contacted a realtor who had some pretty good experience with like short sales. And while I wasn't like able to make a significant amount, he was able to still compensate me a marketing fee of like $3,000. So, at least I got my marketing money back from that campaign. So that was that was nice. And then, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. And then the third deal that I put together, I guess I worked together with someone, was kind of a partner, kind of friend at the time. He had a lead down in Kent for a condo unit that, it was an inheritance kind of deal. So the person inherited the condo. They didn't really want to deal with it. And so, I kind of went down there thinking I was just going to have a conversation with him, but he was ready to dance that day. And so, he just started saying, hey, what can you offer? And I'm like, I wasn't even ready to go there. And he kind of just kept pushing. And I was like, okay, great. I just kind of threw out a number and he said, that's a little too low. Where can we be? And, this is before me like really delving into like negotiations and kind of how to really strategically talk numbers. So I went back, I went outside, I acted like I tried calling my partner at the time. He didn't pick up his phone. And I went back to the guy and said, well, look, you're here, I'm here, how about we split the difference, right? Now I know that's probably not the best way to do it, but I got the deal done that way. And we were able to wholesale that one for about 26,000.
Okay.
We wholesaled that to an agent that we circle prospected who had done a couple of deals in that condominium development. And so he ended up having a buyer that bought it from us.
Awesome. Okay. So you've done how many deals did you do in 2017?
2017 was a total of 4. So
4. Okay. You have a common theme around partners. So do you still have a partner?
Yeah. So I work with a partner who kind of sources. He's a little bit more of an expert than I am in like development stuff. And that's kind of the deals I was going to talk about in 2018 that we've kind of put together so far.
Okay.
But we happened to kind of get a couple, like the condo in Kent was a one-off deal for him. He doesn't really focus really on the single family stuff, but I ended up working with him because he said, hey, here's a lead, sounds motivated, go down and see what's up. And I got the contract that day. So. Okay.
So what are your goals for 2018?
So my goal for 2018 is to do about 15 to 18 wholesale deals. And okay. I want to gross $200,000 for this year.
Okay. So I'm not great with math in my head. And how many, have you done any wholesale deals this far?
Yeah. So this year we've done 4 deals now.
You've done 4 deals. Okay. And are those the development deals?
So 3 of them are development. 1 was a single family.
Okay. Tell me about those.
So one of the development deals, we I went down and scoured around the University of Washington, which is a pretty popular area around here with a lot of student housing. And I was able to source an opportunity, which was kind of a nasty looking triplex, multiplex house, which had higher and better use. In this particular case, it had the zoning of mid-rise, which allows someone to build up to 6 to 7 stories in that area. And it's more conducive to, more units, more student housing that could rent anywhere between, $1,000 to $1,100 per unit. And these are micro units, so they're probably between, maybe 180 to maybe 300 square feet each. And so I was able to source that. I talked to the seller. We were able to get it under contract. This was last year, and it finally closed in January of this year, where me and my partner, we walked away with a 6-figure check. I mean, obviously that wasn't all, that wasn't net to me. So I didn't make a 6-figure check, but there was a split between my partner and I on that.
Awesome. Okay.
So, and then we had 2 more deals in the area north of Seattle known as Shoreline, where we put together, these are townhouse development opportunities. So I was able to source one of them, and we got paid, I think it was like a 3% commission on that, where it ended up being, I made like just under $7,000 on that check. And the next house next door, that same, investor that we worked with that was planning on developing them, ended up getting that under contract as well. And we didn't make a fee off that, but we get the list backs next year. So between the 2 properties, there'll probably be somewhere between 9 to 10 townhouses with a median sell price of what we're thinking is maybe between $600,000 to $650,000 per unit. So we'll get the list backs on those next year as well.
Okay, so do you want to continue down the developer path, or do you want to just do quote normal wholesale deals?
Well, developer is nice because your deals hatch and they have babies where you can kind of monetize them in a couple of years. But for right now, I think I want like today cash, like what can we do in the next 90 days to really monetize some opportunities? So that's kind of why I decided to talk to you about this and see, what I can do, what kind of actionable steps I can take in the next 90 days to start, filling this pipeline full of opportunities for myself.
So you mentioned that you want to do $200,000 gross this year.
Yeah. Yep.
From 15 to 18 deals. I know how hot Seattle is. Seattle is one of the hottest markets in the country. I know the price points. We actually did some test marketing there. We did a deal there, as I told you. Your average wholesale fee should be $35,000 to $40,000.
Okay.
So at 15 deals, let's go on the low end times $35,000. That's $525,000.
Okay.
So first of all, if your number of deals are correct, which I think is doable, depending on what your marketing spend is, that's a little over a deal a month. You could gross $500,000 there. So
wow.
So let's talk about what you're doing to find these deals. What are you doing from a marketing standpoint? And tell me a little bit more about your arrangement with your partner. And I think you said he was doing some marketing for you.
Yeah. So my partner typically does a lot of the. So what I do in this partnership is I use Tucker Maryhugh's Driving for Dollar app. So I go and I source like the opportunities that we want to mail on in the Seattle area. I do that every single day. I hit at least 50 houses a day. So I've been doing that since about the mid part of February. So we've been doing that pretty consistently for the past 2 months. Every single day, weekly, I've been doing about 200 houses minimum. And then from there, I also pick out some nasty houses that are either boarded up or in really bad shape. And I'll go skip trace those houses that day. It ranges, between about 5 to 10 houses, and I'll cold call those people. And then I also go ahead.
What does the Driving for Dollar app do?
So the Driving for Dollar app, really, instead of me taking a piece of paper and a pen, like handwriting these addresses and looking around and trying to find what address this house is, I just take the app and it shows it's like a Google Map interface, and you just put a pin on the houses that you want to, give an idea about whether they're kind of deferred maintenance or they're kind of in older neighborhoods that support higher price points.
Right.
that's what that app does. And then from there, it's kind of exports it into a CSV file, or you can use it for like more direct marketing or skip tracing or whatever you want to do with it.
So I came across a pretty cool app called Deal Machine. If you go to bradchandler.com/DFD for driving for dollars, you walk up, you drive it to the house, you take a picture of it.
Yeah.
It automatically sends the owner a postcard where the current address is, mailing address, with a picture of the house saying that you want to buy it for $1. And then it automatically does that 3 times over, day 1, day 30, day 60. And then for an additional $1, it will give you a phone number and an email address.
Okay.
And, he's the owner of this app has claimed that once you get about 200 houses in there, which costs about $600, he's seeing a lot of his clients actually get deals. I actually have a coaching student of mine in Fort Walton, Florida, who last year got a $25,000 deal from it. So
wow.
If you want to check that out, or if anyone listening wants to check that out, just go to bradchandler.com/DFD for driving for dollars, because you've got to come with his app. It sounds like you've got to do some extra work. With this, it's just, you just point, take a picture, and then you can imagine getting a picture with your house, a postcard with your house picture on it.
Yeah.
You're going to look at it, right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So of those 200 a week, so from there, are you mailing them all, or did you say picking some of them and skip tracing them?
So I'm picking some of them and skip tracing them, but the goal is for us to kind of get this snowball effect of houses that I continue to bring in daily and just start mailing them. So I kind of talked with my partner, Pete, about this yesterday, and we're thinking, I kind of read some of your material on the longevity of campaigns. So I was kind of telling him, like, maybe we should spread this out over an 8-letter campaign, 14 to 18 months seems to be the sweet spot based on kind of what I've read. And so from there, that's kind of what I was thinking. He was just trying to think, doing it every month. I'm like, well, I kind of want this campaign we definitely want to stretch every marketing dollar we have because of how tight the market is up here, right? So
are these for vacant rundown houses? Is that what you're talking about?
No, these are just our driving for dollars picks.
Yeah. So stretching it to 12 to 18 months is way too long. I think when I said 12 to 18 months, that was for probate deals.
Oh, okay.
Where it takes a long time to actually make it through the court, or a lot of people who inherit houses just don't want, people treat death differently. So some people literally will have the house sit there for 12 months before they even want to walk into it.
Okay.
So no, for the driving for dollars and the banged up houses, you want to hit those. I'm with your partner. You want to hit those every month. You want to call them as much as you can.
Okay. Every month.
So how has this system been working for you thus far this year? From this system, you've gotten 4 deals this year?
So this system we just started in February, and most of my deals are development deals kind of tapered off in February. So I was kind of doing some random stuff, between when I started seriously in July of last year till about February of this year. So I kind of wanted to focus more on like single family opportunities. So far from me doing this, I guess, driving for dollars and skip tracing and calling, I've gotten, we haven't done the mailers yet. So this is just kind of information from my skip tracing campaigns. In February, I got 25 leads. I had 6 appointments with 2 follow-up appointments. I had 3 contracts sent, 1 contract signed, and 1 contract sold. And then in March, I had 27 leads.
What did you make on that first deal?
That was the deal that we closed in February for the just under $7,000. I had a split with my partner, so I had just under $7,000 on that off of development.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are these part of the deals you told me about for 2017?
Those ones, the 4 deals I did in 2017 were not like development deals. The 3 deals I've done in 2018 those 3 have been development deals, and I had 1 off single family house deal in Everett. Okay. So the numbers that you're giving me, that you were just giving me, those are development deals? Those are development deals. Well, yeah, these are just numbers based off of, so these are kind of, I guess, a new thing. These are kind of like either I'm targeting, because the lists here I have that my campaigns are either like derelict houses or they are zoning for February. I've kind of tailed that out in March, where it's just focusing on distress lists now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any, or other than these driving for dollars, what is your market? Do you have a marketing budget? Do you have money to spend every month in marketing?
Yeah, so my partner Pete is he's kind of focusing more on driving for mailing these driving for dollars, and he'll probably end up spending. I'm going to say our current marketing budget is probably about $2,000 a month, and a lot of that is taken up by skip tracing. But now he's going to probably expand that, I imagine, to another 3,000, so we'll probably have about 5,000 a month total. And we're thinking about including maybe some ringless voicemail in there to follow up with, people who haven't been picking up their phone on a monthly basis. So I have to keep going in back and redialing every single month.
Okay. What about just doing like a direct mail list, or do you have a website?
We do have a website. I can, if you want to pull it up, it's pntgroupllc.com. But it's more of like a development. I guess the way it comes off to people is more like development and like new construction. So if someone came in as like a homeowner who was just looking to sell their property as like a single family house that had no higher and better use, they might be a little confused.
Okay. So why haven't you built or gotten like an investor carrot site? Is there a reason?
I haven't yet, because my partner has been kind of talking about using Investor Carrot, but I've been kind of in the business, not working on the business for the most part. And so That's the reason why I haven't even thought about, a website at this point.
Okay. So any reputable business has a website.
Uh-huh.
So whether you're calling these people or emailing them or sending them postcards, they're going to likely ask you, hey, let me go check out your website. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely go get a carrot site. If anyone wants to go, just go to bradchandler.com/carrot, just like the vegetable. And they're the best in the business for that. And then what about, they've got packages from $50 to $100 a month. They're completely built out. They teach you how to rank, high in the search engines. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, driving for dollars and skip tracing. But if you can get 15 deals under your belt in Seattle, you're looking at $500,000 of income. So you really need to start thinking more strategically and more as a business owner. Okay. And how can you leverage this? How can you increase this? How can you replicate this? How can you grow that 500 this year to, I don't know what your goals are next year, but would you like to, increase that 50%, 100% to making $700,000 a year?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You always want to go bigger and better every single year.
Okay, so you're in like a phenomenal market to do this. So what you're doing now is really guerrilla tactics, and there's nothing wrong with it. But in order to grow your business, you want to start doing it where people are actually calling you. So what has kept you from, with a $5,000 marketing budget, you could get a website. Do you guys have a CRM?
Yeah, we use Podio and InvestorFuse. Okay,
that's fine. And then what's kept you from doing outbound mailing to certain lists?
Well, it's not so much that we're like, it's like something that's keeping us, but because of how tight the market is, we feel like we have to get in front of those people by cold calling them first, and kind of being a little bit more aggressive. Now, you're absolutely right. It doesn't allow for any kind of scalability, right? Because we are just kind of doing these guerrilla tactics and hitting them. But I feel like that's kind of been our response to how tight the market's gotten and how, so many, I guess, investors are flooding the market with mail where, I make a phone call and someone's like, hey, you're the first one that called me. And, other people are just kind of getting their mail trashed and tossed in, the garbage every single day.
Yeah, so that's just a mindset shift that you need to make, because we do some outbound calling, but we get very few deals from outbound calling. And I'm not saying we don't get them. I have no idea why we don't get them. We're still trying to work on that. Okay. So, we did 175, 180 wholesale deals last year, and we didn't do any outbound calling. And we're in Washington, D.C., which is a really, 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 really competitive market, just like Seattle.
Yeah.
It's a combination of direct mail and internet, both pay-per-click and SEO. We do a little bit of social, like Facebook advertisement, but not much. Okay. And we do TV advertising. So while cold calling is good, you definitely should be mailing some of these, hot lists where it's high equity or tax delinquent or vacant or divorce or, probate or inherited. And you just want to set up a consistent marketing machine. So, I always like to emulate successful companies. Look at any of the successful company, whether it's Geico is a perfect example.
Okay.
They're not their only marketing strategies. It's just not cold calling people. They probably don't do any of that actually. It's all marketing, getting people to come to them.
Right.
So you definitely have to change that. Is the 5 green kind of a limit on what you guys can spend?
No, I mean, I think my partner was interested. I mean, if the returns were show, then he would be willing to spend more than that. That's just kind of a preliminary thing because we like to test things before kind of ramping up, right? Kind of lead with, I guess, revenue.
Okay, you guys need to join my coaching program. I could literally hold your hand, and you guys could own Seattle market. It's because I know how hot Seattle is. It's an amazingly great market.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to pause to tell the listeners about something really cool I'm offering a select number of people. If you're one of the 78% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, or you're struggling trying to grow your real estate investing business, you may be interested in this opportunity. At Brad Chandler Coaching, I teach people how to find freedom in their life doing exactly what we do, and that's to invest in real estate without needing tons of money or credit. So if you're interested in learning more, you can see all of what my program has to offer by going to bradchandler.com/webinar. On this page, you'll find a free training where I discuss how to start or grow a real estate investing business. If after watching the training you're interested, simply fill out the questions at bradchandler.com/start. And if we feel like you're fit, we'll schedule a strategy session with you. There's no cost or obligation to apply. You're simply applying to see if you're a fit. If we feel like you're a fit, then you'll be invited to join our tribe of winners. That's our tribe name. And at that point, you can decide whether or not to enroll. If you want to learn how to make tens of thousands of dollars wholesaling a house without bank loans or credit or tons of cash, go ahead and watch my free training at bradchandler.com/webinar. If you're looking for freedom in your life, this could be the answer. Okay. Back to Solomon. So Solomon, I know in your what you filled out to become to get on the podcast, you had a ton of questions. So, what questions do you have about? It seems like your obstacles to me are you're just not doing enough marketing to get the phone ringing.
What questions? Definitely. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. What questions do you have about? And you need to get a carrot site. Like go today, tomorrow. Go to bradchandler.com/carrot. Get a freaking carrot site.
Okay.
And then you can start, you could even start, doing some SEO. You can start doing some pay-per-click advertising. You can start doing some direct mail. But what questions do you have for me in terms of growing your business and hitting? I think the 200,000 honestly is low because you base that on an average wholesale fee of $11,000 to, $10,000 to $12,000.
Yeah.
So now that you know that you can do 3 times that, you need to raise the bar and really shoot for $300,000 to $500,000 this year. So what questions do you have for me in terms of getting there?
Yeah. So Brad, I mean, I guess my questions, I'm a numbers guy. I like to see metrics. So in your market, like a competitive market like yours, right? When you're hitting these lists, and your cost per deal, like for example, from direct mail, do you have those metrics, just like a ballpark figure as to kind of what your cost per deal is? What your, what's your cost per appointment, and then how many appointments it costs, to actually get a deal. I just kind of like to see that sequential, process. Like some people kind of just throw out, hey, it takes me, 57 leads to get a deal. It takes me 40 leads to get a deal. It takes me, but I just kind of want to see how other people are doing that kind of market.
Yeah. So we're about 30 leads to get a deal.
Okay.
For direct, we have 3 or 4 different lead sources.
Okay.
But our cost per deal is right around $8,000 to $9,000.
Okay.
And then our average wholesale fee last year was $37,000.
Wow. Okay. That makes sense.
And again, I think your numbers in Seattle are going to be very similar because we went and looked at the entire United States and we found markets were a lot like DC, and Seattle was one of 5 markets that was very much like DC. So you could expect to spend anywhere between $7,000 and $12,000 for a deal, and you should be closing, even make it rough, even worse than the 30 to 40 leads to close a deal.
Yeah.
But if you're spending 10 grand and getting back 37, that's a pretty good return.
Yeah, you're almost 4Xing on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then your appointments. So conversions is also one thing that I'm very, I guess, concerned about, right? I've gone on, X amount of appointments. So like for February, I went on, 6 appointments with 2 follow-up appointments. And then March, I did 5 original appointments with 4 follow-up appointments as well, and wasn't able to secure any kind of wholesale deal in that time. What are you seeing when your acquisitions guys are going out? What's the percentage of appointments they're converting?
25 to 30%.
Okay.
So if that number is too high, it means you're not going on enough appointments.
Okay.
So some people are like, oh, I close 80% of my appointments. And I'm like, well, you're not too smart because you're not going on enough appointments.
Okay. Got it. Now, your average deal cycle from the time that your initial prospect reaches out to you to when you actually close the deal in escrow, how long of a process is that?
45 days.
Wow. Okay.
You asked a question. You had a written question about how is a live person better than it going to a call center? Always. If you've got a highly trained person, if you're taking the call as opposed to, say Pat Live call center, you're going to always do better than a call center. So if you can take them live, great. What happens with us is the calls, if we don't answer them, they roll over to a call center.
Okay. Now, your guys' response rates to your direct mail, I'm just talking about direct mail. What are you seeing in the DC market? I mean, I've heard some guys in the San Francisco area that are getting maybe 0.5% on their postcards.
Yeah, we're around that or lower.
Okay.
But it still works out. Like if you look at our spend last year compared to what we got, it was a 3x return, 2.7x return or something like that.
Okay. Got it.
Wow. Guys, if you like that, we click the heart button a couple of times and send us some love. You also had a question of how long do we follow up? We follow up, Solomon. We follow up forever, man. Like
okay.
we've closed leads in the last couple of years. That the lead came in 7 years ago.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
So on your guys' so one thing, Brad, I'm really curious about is your guys' follow-up sequence, right? So I kind of talked to a couple people, and I listened to your other podcasts about 15 follow-ups within the first 4 days of a lead responding, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So from there, and then if you get a hold of them, how does that sequence change, right? Because I'm just kind of, I guess, following up or putting my sequences based on my conversations with those homeowners. So the guy's like, hey, I got the guy on the phone on a cold call, and he's like, hey, yeah, I might be interested in signing in the next 6 months. Then I'll put a follow-up for like maybe 3 or 4 months because I don't want to actually wait till 6 months. I might have someone slide under there and kind of take that from me. But then there's that gap, about 3 months where I'm not doing anything with that lead. So what would you guys do, or what would you kind of recommend to
I would never go more than 3 or 4 weeks without calling someone. Even if they say 6 months, I'm going to be calling them saying, hey, I understand you mentioned you want to sell a couple months out, but I just wanted to call and see if, things change all the time. We're in this business every day, and, people tell us one thing and then it changes. So I was just calling to check in. Has anything changed with your plans to sell your house?
Okay. So pretty much at least monthly then.
At least monthly, but at least monthly for the people who say call me back in 6 months. If they're like, let me think about it or whatever, then you should be calling them back, every week to 10 days.
Okay. Okay.
This is all you're going to be able to replay this, so no need to take notes. Just you go back and listen to it, because then you can fire more questions at me.
Yeah. So when you guys on your follow-up sequence, are these typically just phone calls, or are they including text messages, emails, phone calls?
Everything. Okay. Yeah. Phone calls, voicemails, text messages, emails.
Okay. Are you guys also dropping like a direct mail on top of them, like a different sequence of direct mail?
So we for years have been we'll send out a contract to the people we don't actually meet with a packet.
Okay.
It hasn't worked that great. We've tried postcards in the past. We of course retarget everyone who comes to our site.
Okay.
So that means that just Google actually pixels their site or pixels their IP address, their computer, and then when they go to another site, our ad pops up, and it also pops up in Facebook as well.
Okay.
And that's why you need to get a carrot site, because you need to drive people to your site, and then you need to retarget them. Retargeting is a really cheap effective way of marketing.
Okay. Now, so it sounds like right now that your number one thing for me is to get this carrot site up and running, and then starting to hit direct mail, right? If I want to get a deal in the next 90 days, Brad Chandler style, what list are you recommending that I hit?
High equity, and I go over this in great detail in my coaching program, but depending on how much money you have to spend, just go higher equity. And there's filters, like you could go, you could start at 50. The homeowner has equity of say 50% more, and they're 50 years or older. And then if the list that you're marketing to is too big, then you narrow that down by saying, all right, let's go to 55, let's go to 60 years age, let's go to 80% equity, and then just hit that list. And if you like skip tracing and calling people, you can send them postcard, and then you can also skip trace and call those people, so they're getting a postcard and a call, just like you're doing with the with the driving for dollars now.
Okay, but it sounds like, just based on my conversation with you, one, we don't have enough marketing sent out on a monthly basis to consistently land deals, and two, we don't have that online presence where we need to be in order to drive traffic to us right away.
Absolutely. It sounds like you've got all the tools. You know how to value properties. You know how to list properties. You know how to estimate renovations. It sounds like you've got a partner with some money. Like, you guys need to strike while the iron's hot. How much longer it's going to last? I don't know if it's a year, 2 years, 5 years. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But what I know now is that if I moved to Seattle today, I could make $500, $600, $1 million in wholesale fees in the next 12 months. You guys need to do what the advice I give all of my students, and that is get a kick-ass follow-up system, which seems like you've already got. I know Investor Fuse is great. Get a website up and running, and then start marketing. You got to get out there. This probably is the best time of year because it's a spring market and it's hot, which means people really want projects now before the winter comes again. They want that 6 months to renovate the properties. Yep. So you guys need to just get on it, and if you've got money. If you got money to market, man, start marketing. Yeah, get that carrot site up and running. You could throw $5,000 towards pay-per-click, and you could start getting leads like the next day.
Okay. But direct mail, if next 90 days, if I want to go and secure a deal through direct mail would be the best way to do it, you think?
I think so. Continue driving for dollars and skip tracing those people, but get your website up and running. Pay-per-click is also Google pay-per-click, and Bing is also a very, very quick way to generate leads. So it just depends. If you could give me hey, this is the amount of money I'm comfortable in spending a month. You mentioned 5,000, but it sounds like you're not sure because maybe your partner could spend more. Yeah. If you could spend $10,000, I'd say put 1,000 of that towards your website. By the way, do you want to be in this business for the long haul? Or are you trying to build a long, sustainable business?
Absolutely.
So I'd probably put 1,000 of if you said 10,000, I'd probably put 1,000 of the $10,000 in the carrot site, your follow-up system, and some SEO. Okay. And then the remaining 9,000, I'd probably split that between pay-per-click, skip tracing, and direct mail. So I'd probably do 3,000 or 4,000 in direct mail, 3,000 or 4,000 in pay-per-click, and then the remaining 1,000 or 2,000 into the skip tracing. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, great. Well, Brad, I don't have any other questions. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me and kind of deep delve into my business. Is there anything else I can do for you, to bring value to you? No, I think just share this podcast and spread the word. There's a lot of people out there, and unfortunately in really crappy situations, that hate their job and living paycheck to paycheck. So if you know anyone who wants to join the coaching programs, send them my way at bradchandler.com. That would be great. Okay. And just continue to support me online and comment on my shares and share them, and that's it. You got a lot of the right tools here, Solomon, and now you just need to go out and execute. Continue to take massive action, and just do those things I said, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show in a year from now, and you'll have told me about the $525,000 that you've made. Yeah, that'd be great. So thanks everyone for sticking around to the end. If you'd like to get my free training on the step-by-step process we took to make $33,750 on a townhome in Virginia that we never bought or renovated, simply go to bradchandler.com/case study. Remember, it is possible for you to leave your job and get the freedom you deserve in your life through real estate investing without needing money to buy or renovate the homes. You'll learn that in the case study. Myself, my students, and countless wholesalers around the U.S. are living proof. Okay, thanks, Solomon, so much. This concludes our show for today. I'm going to jump over quickly and see if there's any live questions to see if anyone's got any questions for you or me.
Okay.
Let's just see if all right, no questions yet. So we're going to wrap up today. Solomon, go continue to kick some ass, and we will talk hopefully soon, and you'll tell me about all your great successes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
All right, take care, my friend.
Bye.
Bye.